What are 5 questions most sellers might ask when they're preparing or considering selling their home?
Well, the big one, the one that gets number one
Exactly.
usually, is what's my house worth today? Well, that's a great question, and there's a lot of things involved in that. What's going on in the economy? Where are the interest rates, which I guess has to do with what's going on in the economy. What's the location of your home? What updates have you recently done since you've owned it? Things like that. So what you do is you call us, and then
That's
we
the first
that's
thing.
the first and best
Call
thing.
us.
Then we prepare a market analysis, comparative market analysis, CMA. It's not an appraisal, and then we'll go over that with you based upon the most recent comparable sales, because that's what you're going to want. What is happening? What's going on now? What looks like it's going to close soon? That's all the things that we pull together to come up with a valuation of your home.
The first thing to do, like Joe said, is call us. But what happens after that normally is we like to schedule an appointment or a time to come out and take a look at your property. Even if you haven't decided to sell yet, let's chat. Let's take a look at your property. We're happy to give you our honest opinion on what we think you might need to do to prepare the property. But the bigger piece is we want to take a look at your property, see what improvements you may have made to it, so that when we're looking at other comparables, meaning properties that are currently under contract, currently active, or have recently sold, we have a better idea of how yours compares. Because when we put those market analysis together that Joe talked about, we want to make sure that we're getting as close to apples as we can when we're comparing your house to others to help you determine a value.
Sometimes people are surprised that it's too high. Sometimes they're not so surprised, or they are surprised because it might be a little bit lower than what they think.
Yes.
But we decide together going over those comparative sales.
Yes, we've lived in Des Plaines for over 30 years, and as part of our professional expertise, I guess, we like to keep an eye on the market so that we can have these type of high-level conversations with you and help you decide what's going to be best to do.
Yeah. What's another question we get all the time?
How long is it going to take to sell my house? Well, after we've had that conversation and we've put together our market analysis for you, we're going to review all of that information, and then we're going to talk about how we might be able to help your home or decide where your home is going to fit in the market. And there's a lot of pieces that have to do with that, meaning what price are we thinking about? Is it an aggressive price, meaning it might be slightly under where the estimated market value would be? That might give you a shorter market time. If you're one that is considering, I don't really need to sell, but if I can get my price, then I'll sell, that might lengthen the market time depending on what price we decide on. So we're going to talk through all of those different options and see how you compare to everything else that's around. What goes into that decision is the condition of the property and the location. So some things we can't change. Condition, if you chose, you may want to change, but we're not agents that are normally going to come in and tell you to do an HGTV makeover on the house. Sometimes you're inheriting a property. Sometimes you're just done. You're ready for the next buyer to come in. We believe sometimes that making design decisions and spending money on that, unless you're going to get a great return off of it, you might as well leave that for the buyers and let them decide.
Why spend $10,000 if you're not going to get more than $10,000 out of it?
Exactly.
So, but the number one thing, numero uno, in getting your home sold in a quick time or an average time, price. As I've said since, over 30 years I've been in this business, price is king. There we go.
So we're happy to have all of those conversations with you and help you navigate the market when you are ready to sell.
And another question we get is, what should I do to my house to get it ready to sell?
Yes.
So we will come in, and part of what we do and part of our experience over all these years is the things to do, the things not to do. Move this, don't move that, paint this, maybe don't paint it. Hey, we're going to update the bathroom. We might say, no, don't bother spending that money. Get it on the market and get it sold the next person coming along, because you're not going to get, as Jean mentioned, that return on investment that you need to do.
You may have sat at home and made a list of things going, okay, we're thinking of selling, and these are the things that we believe that we should do. Our suggestion is don't do any of them. Call us first, and then we can go over that list and help you decide what might be the best thing to do. In the simplest form, some of our suggestions might be get a pot, put it on the front porch, and put a nice flower arrangement on it so that your pictures are even prettier with a pop of color, because curb appeal in those first few pictures in the MLS are going to be what is going to get buyers' attention.
And that's our our seller's guide as well has some suggestions in it, and then we'll let you know what to put away, what not to put away. And one other thing I tell people are like, well, we're thinking about doing this because we want to sell our house. Well, when are you going to sell? Or we're not selling for a couple of years. And I said, well, then do it, enjoy it, and then the next person can enjoy it as well. So do the work for you, not necessarily for the next person.
That's when we would approve something that is a bigger expense. If you are going to live there for a while and enjoy it, then go ahead and do that. But we will also kind of take a look and help you decide if you're going to make an improvement, what the neighborhood is currently accepting, and hopefully guide you into not over improving your property where you might not get that out even if it's a few years down the road. The next piece that we have been asked many times is, when's the best time to sell? I know you have an answer to this.
The best time to sell is when you're ready.
There you go.
When the time is right for you. That's the most important time. The homes sell all year round. We've sold homes on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and on Easter, and on 4th of July. And holidays sometimes don't make a difference when you're ready and the market's ready for your house as well.
Many people, when we are talking to them in the fall, might say, okay, I want to wait until spring to sell my house, believing that that is the best time to sell. Spring is a very good time to sell. But in the Chicago area, we never know how to define spring. We have literally seen the spring market, which does not send you a notice of when the spring market is going to start. Sometimes it has been in February. Other times the spring market, dependent on a lot of different things, could possibly wait until May to all of a sudden show up. So I 100% agree with Joe. Sell when you are ready to sell, and we will help you find a place in the market that's going to work best for you. But there are really two big highlights of when to sell. Spring is one, and the fall is a very busy market around here as well.
I know some people are surprised by that, but it's a beautiful time of year. Kids are back in school. People are ready sometimes to do business. So spring and fall, the busiest times, but all year round, home sell.
Yes. And speaking of business, the last question that we get asked many times is, what are the type of costs that are incurred in selling? Well, here we go.
Numero uno, that's what we discussed, is the commission. There's a real estate commission. Although I'm sure you'd like it, we don't work for free, nor do the other realtors. So your realtor commission is discussed right off the bat. Then
it is always negotiable.
By law, it's negotiable, has been since the 1800s, Sherman Antitrust Act.
There we go.
And then there's a whole list of other expenses that you have to cover with the sale of your home.
Exactly. One of them is an attorney fee. We highly suggest that you get into a relationship with a real estate attorney. If you don't have them, we have some that we can suggest as well. But closings go much smoother in most cases with an attorney on both sides of that transaction. City, state, and county transfer taxes are always going to be
stamps. They're taxes.
Yes, and in Des Plaines, if you are looking at selling a property in Des Plaines, they are going to charge you $2 per thousand based on the sale price of your home in order to sell in Des Plaines, and you won't close without their little stamp.
And then we have title fees. Then there's, if you have a mortgage, you're going to have to pay for a payoff letter usually. So, and then you got to pay off your mortgage. And then there's all little fees involved in that as well. And what we would do, we can set up and do what we call a seller net sheet, which says if you sell for maybe these prices, here's how much you would end up in. The most important thing, how much is going to go into your pocket. So we'll discuss that with you right up front.
If you don't understand what net sheet means, think of it as walkaway money. What, after all of your bills are paid, what are you going to get in a check or into a deposit into your pocket?
There you go.
So we are Joe and Jean Morella with the Spouses Selling Houses team at Keller Williams. We've been proud residents of Des Plaines for over 30 years. We'd be happy to chat with you about any specific questions you have about selling. And if you are considering making a move, we'd be happy to be the real estate team to help you out.
Thanks.